I'm Kevin Tame, and welcome to the Marvel Champion. Today I'm going to be playing as Captain Marvel Leadership versus the Standard Rhino, a Standard Rhino which is the standard encounter set, and Bomb Threat. And these are just the decks that are from the core set and which are the recommended decks. Captain Marvel's interesting in that she has a pretty good thwart of 2 and a pretty good attack of 2, but she has pretty weak defense. She does have some upgrades that really increase her defense if you're able to get her Cosmic Flight and Captain Marvel's helmet down. That'll gives her the aerial trait, which then in turn gives her 2 more defense. So she can be useful for defending. A great thing about Captain Marvel that I like is in the Carol Danvers form, in her alter ego form, she has that card draw, which is really nice. Card draw is, I think, one of the most important things in the game. Resources are obviously important, but if you need to have a good draw engine in order to get the things you need. The her other ability of spending on a resource, specifically the power resource, the electric looking one, that allows her to heal and then draw cards. That's okay, but it's not as good as the Carol Danvers one, it's just a straight draw without anything. But anyways, she has some pretty cool cards, I think, that allows her to do some big hits. When I play Rhino or any type of solo, I kind of like to have some sort of pow to knock out the Rhino in his second phase, and sometimes even in the first phase. Leadership is also a really great ability because you have some pretty decent allies that allow you to do great things. But anyways, let's jump right into this match and see how it goes. Okay, as we can see, we're playing Captain Marvel, and you start off as Carol Danvers, and so she has 6 hand size, and she has 12 hit points, which is pretty great. Like I said, her stats are pretty good. She has 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 1 defense. And Carol Danvers Recover 4 is pretty bad, but I actually rarely use that ability. So what I want to see here early is upgrades are really good, and I got a Nick Fury. I don't really want to use a Haymaker, a Tenacity, or First Aid right off the bat. I'm looking for extra resources, and so I mulligan those away. Nick Fury, I love seeing early because I can just draw. He's another way to draw. Gets 3 draw. Spider-Woman is a really great, interesting card. I like her because she confuses the enemy, but then also the biggest thing is like confusing enemies can be nice if you can get her down early. And I don't really use her that way in this game. So go ahead and get Nick Fury down just so I can get 3 more draw. So here I drew Cosmic Flight, which gives Captain Marvel the aerial trait, and it's also this like defense. If like she's gonna get kind of knocked out, you can discard it. If she's gonna get knocked out, you can discard it and allow her to not fully die, right, and not lose the game. So I'm debating here. I want to get the helmet down. It's nice to have that defense, but at the same time, Spider-Woman could be useful here, especially for confusing Rhino, so that while I'm in Carol Danvers mode, I could, he won't thwart against me, not thwart, scheme against me. So the Energy Absorption is a really great card, but I like to save it for powering up one of her other cards. So go ahead and defend with Nick Fury because I can't defend with him actually, because this is scheming. So that hard to keep down. Gained Surge because why? Oh, it shouldn't have gained Surge. That was a misplay there. So I actually made this game harder for myself because Rhino had 2 health. It should have healed him instead of gaining Surge. Wow. That was really annoying that I had this crowd control in this match, and I just realized that. But that's okay. We'll just play it out as is. So this I like. Maybe I like Avengers Mansion better, but this one is nice because it's so cheap. What I'm looking for here is to kind of cycle through my deck, get rid of the cards that I don't like. And in Carol Danvers mode, which is nice, is you can draw 2 cards instead of 1 with the Alpha Flight Station. Helicarrier, early on, it's a great card just to give you that extra resource. So I'm gonna play it. Since the scheming and the threat have gone up so high, I go ahead and I play this Crisis Intervention, which allows me to take 2 off of, and if I'm in the aerial trade, and if I use, yeah, if I'm in the aerial trade, it allows me to take 2 off of one scheme and then 2 off of another. So that's pretty powerful. And then I'm going to go ahead and clear out the rest of the threat here with Captain Marvel's ability. So I didn't stay in Carol Danvers for very long, which is okay. So Energy Channel is my big power card. What it does is you put power energy or energy. I can't remember what it's called. Sorry, I always mess up the terms. The electric looking ones, and you can get up to 10 on there, or you can get up to 5 up there, and then for every energy on there, or every counter on there, you can do 10 damage. So I like to power it up and then do this big hit against Rhino. So unfortunately, Sandman came out, and he is a big mamma jamma to deal with. So I'm trying to figure out how the best way to deal with him. I might use a Photonic Blast here to deal with him, just because he's a bit of a pain. I do have 12 health, so I can take some hits here from Sandman and Rhino. So I might just allow that to happen. But I'm going to go ahead and get Vision down. And then I really want to get this energy channel down, so I didn't want to lose it. So that's why I gave up the Photonic Blast. Get rid of this tough symbol, which is not great. It's better to, if I had someone who could do a single damage, that's ideal. And so this turn is kind of me just trying to survive. I also got another energy channel, which is useful, but since I already have one out, I probably don't need the second one. But I drew another Photonic Blast, which is going to be, I think, the way that I potentially knock out Sandman. So I'm just going to take the damage. So that dropped me down from 12 to 7, which is not great. And then Rhino heals, unfortunately. And part of the reason I took the damage there is I wanted Vision to be available so that I could use his attack, especially his ability. I want to be able to get that +2 if I spend an electric resource. So I'm going to go ahead and spend it here so that I can do 4 damage on Sandman and knock him out, which turned out great here. I did take some damage from Captain Marvel, but I do have her ability to be able to heal and draw, so I might be using that anyways. What I'm deciding here is how to use my Alpha Flight Station, see which card I don't want very much. So Crisis Intervention here is not great in this moment. I might just use it for the electric, or the energy, whatever you call that thing. Man, I need to look that up, sorry. Go ahead and do a Photonic Blast, which does 5 damage, which is good because I can kind of get Rhino down. So I'm just making a few adjustments here, so I can pay with the Helicarrier and keep my genius in. So I'm going to go ahead and knock Rhino down a little bit, because if I can get Rhino down, knocked down, just like chip damage early through phase 1, then when phase 2 is, I can have my energy channel kind of all powered up so that I can do a big hit on him. So go ahead and I use Power of Leadership to use the wild on there to get a counter on energy channel. While the green is the wild, it can be any type. Accidentally misclicked there and brought in a bunch of my cards, which were not supposed to be in my hand. So here I'm going to just defend with him with Vision, because he only has 1 hit left, so it's better to just use that as a defense instead of taking the damage to Captain Marvel. So Bomb Scare comes out, which is unfortunate because that increases the threat beginning of each villain phase. So I will need to deal with that. Maria Hill does have 2 thwart, which is nice for taking out stuff like Bomb Scare. So I'm going to go ahead and get her down, and so I got an energy absorption, which is great because now this will allow me to power up energy channel. And that puts it up to 8. So I'm debating. I don't really need the Cosmic Flight again. So I'm going to discard it and put another counter on there. And now I got to deal with this bomb scare. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm thinking here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that with Maria Hill. Go ahead and one thing I do like about Maria Hill, she's pretty cheap for 2 resources, and you also get a draw. And that ability to thwart is not bad. So I did run out of deck here. So I need to go ahead and take an encounter card. I take Caught Off Guard. That support that I just discarded, what is that? The Triskelion? The Triskelion, I don't really actually think that's a great card. It might be a great card if I have a lot of allies, but in this deck, it was only a 1-cost thing. And I just had it and put it out. So it really helped there because I was able to discard that. I don't really want to discard any of my other cards. So it worked out. So my opponent goes ahead and attacks again. So I took a lot of damage there. So Maria Hill, she was my first buffer, but then I got the Rhino attacks again. So I had to, I just took the damage with Captain Marvel. I could have defended there, but I felt like it might have been better to have her abilities of thwarting and attacking than defending. But I went and healed and drew a card. And now I'm kind of figuring out, I'm thinking, debating if I should use this this energy channel to get Rhino into the next phase. It might, I think it's okay in this situation. I just cycled through my deck, so in theory, I'm going to be coming up on another energy channel to be able to cycle that up again, to be able to knock out Rhino for the final turn. So I think it's okay to use here. And I got to find Breakin' and Taken. I noticed I didn't shuffle the deck here, but I didn't see the card, so it's okay. One little mistake. Well, lots of mistakes I make, but... Okay, so Rhino's back up to 15, and I have Hawkeye here. I'm going to do some little damages. I don't know if I'm going to deal with Breakin' and Taken. I might deal with it if I use this Crisis Intervention, but for the most part, I really just want to kind of knock Rhino down as quickly as possible. Depends on how long the game goes. If I see another energy channel, or if I'm able to like kind of ping damage him down, that's great. It also matters, obviously, the encounter. If like I get any minions or anything like that, that can really slow this down. So I go ahead and defend here because Hawkeye is. I might get a minion that might be useful there, but minions, there's not as many minions as compared to other encounter sets. So the villain schemes, which is unfortunate because I have a high thing, so that brought me up to 5, and also I'm drawing 2 encounter cards from Breakin' and Taken. So that actually swung not very well in my favor because Hydra Mercenary has a guard, so I can't do these quick punches or whatever to knock down Rhino. I have to actually take out the Hydra Mercenary. So I'm going to go ahead and use Haymaker to just take out the Hydra Mercenary. I don't love Haymaker, but it worked in this instance because it's 3. I do need to deal with this threat. And so I'm going to use the Crisis Intervention to pay for it and get rid of 2 there, and then 2 there, and then I'm going to get rid of 2 there. And so I am going to be taking another encounter card this turn, but I think that's okay. So I'm trying to figure out here, like, since my threat isn't totally out of control, I'm going to move over to Carol Danvers to be able to get myself some more draw. Because really what I'm searching for is one of these energy absorptions, which is good, and then also the energy channel to be able to knock out Rhino. And I have 21 cards, so it might be down there, I'm not sure. Haven't seen it yet, so Rhino is going to scheme, and that bumps me up pretty fast. Armored Rhino suits. This is another unfortunate card to draw because now Rhino has a shield of 5 and then a Hydra Mercenary, which is another guard. So this break-in and take-in has really done work here in forcing me to draw encounter cards that I don't want to see. So since I'm in Carol Danvers mode, I'm going to use that to draw up to 2 cards. I have 2 energy absorptions, which is good because I can spend one of them now to play a card, which I'm kind of trying to figure out what would be the best play here for me. Because I'm going to move into Captain Marvel phase. Spider-Woman isn't as great here because it's nice to have her to put the confused on, but I am going to use Captain Marvel's ability to heal and draw because I'm trying to find as quickly as possible the best way to get to my energy channel. So bring Spider-Woman down. Spider-Woman confuses Rhino, which isn't super helpful right now. I'm going to go ahead and try and deal with the Hydra Mercenary and this Armored Rhino suit. So that was it was kind of an inefficient way to take out Hydra Mercenary because I had 1 extra attack. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this Photonic Blast, just 1 shot to take out the Armored Rhino suit. I drew up another armor. So what's nice about the Photonic Blast is if I use an electric, I get an extra draw. So I drew another one. So that's kind of nice. Now I'm just trying to figure out how I can not let the threat get out of control. And I don't think there's anything I can really do about it. So I'm going to discard Avengers Mansion and Power of Leadership. Because I don't need them right now, I'm really just trying to find my energy channel or some way that I can quickly take out Rhino. With a Photonic Blast and a Captain Marvel, I only get down to 7, so I'm not quite there. So Nick Fury would give it an additional 2. See, and then I get a charge on there. Okay, so the Hydro Bomber does not have guard, so I can kind of ignore Hydro Bomber. What I'm really looking for, though, is this energy channel, which I really need. So I'm going to play Nick Fury because I think that's the best way I win this match, is to play Nick Fury, draw 3 cards, and if I can draw the energy channel, then it's a higher likelihood that I can take out Rhino really quickly. So that actually didn't work out for me. I'm going to go ahead and use Alpha Flight Station because I'm still desperate for this energy channel. And I switch over to Carol Danvers because I know that the overkill and the Rhino attack and the Hydro Bomber would actually kill me, so I need to survive this round. So I find the energy channel through using Carol Danvers' ability and the Alpha Flight Station. So this is great. So it was down there pretty far in my deck, but I needed to do as much draw as I can to get there. I'm actually not at risk of Rhino, the threat getting out of control because Rhino is confused. So this is actually a perfect time for me to switch over to Carol Danvers. I don't really like switching a whole lot, but in this case it worked really well. Oh, and I actually didn't even pay attention to the confused. I messed that up. That's funny. And I'm thinking, oh, I lost here. But then I just realized that I had messed that up because I had that confused. So I shouldn't have drawn that card. I'm going to go back down, and then the Hydra Bomber should get 1. Cool. So that actually is how it should be. So if I get a Villain Schemes, I do lose. But I got another charge on here, so I definitely have to kill Rhino this turn, otherwise I lose the match. And I think I can with the energy channel. I have... I was able to use my energy absorption to get 4 counters on there, which puts it up to an attack of 8. And I just need to put 1 more on there. And that would give it to 10. And I actually have a Photonic Blast, so either or would probably work. But I'm going to go ahead and charge this up because that seems more fun right now. So go over here to Rhino mode. Once again, the little trick that I like to do is that I like to use Carol Danvers' abilities as much as I can in Carol Danvers mode and then swap over to be able to use Captain Marvel's modes. So I go ahead and I use Energy Channel. which knocks out Rhino. So this was an interesting match. I got a lot of kind of poor card draws from the encounter deck, which kind of set me back. It took quite a bit longer. I had to deal with the board a little bit more with the minions that came out and keeping the threat under control. I did have a mess up at the beginning where Bomb Scare came out, which I probably didn't need to deal with because I misplayed when it shouldn't have come out. But because it should have just healed Rhino instead of gaining Surge. But that's okay. It made it a little bit more challenging. So what is interesting about Captain Marvel that I really like is her ability to use this energy to to the energy channel to build up some set of big punch. The versatility of the energy absorption though is like if you don't have energy channel and want to use it on that, you can spend it in other ways. It's 3 resources, which is super powerful. And just being able to get down some expensive stuff is nice. Her upgrades at 2, they're not too expensive. I'm not sure I love Avengers Mansion in this deck. You already have a decent amount of draw through either her ability, Carol Danvers' ability, or Alpha Flight Station. I was able to cycle through my deck pretty quick. Avengers Mansion might be nice, but it is kind of expensive to get out. One thing that actually I think made me able to win this match here was I did have a good balance of allies coming out to other cards. I find if all of your allies come out at once and then you don't see any for a while, you can really be hampered because you kind of want to use the allies to attack or thwart or do something, and then use them as a meat shield to take damage for you. And you just kind of have one out there and then take damage, and you have one out there and take damage. That's a useful way to use them. But anyways, yeah, fun match. If you guys have any questions or comments, I really think Captain Marvel is an interesting ability, and she has some pretty powerful cards. Once again, I think the best way to play Rhino is to use allies and her ability to just kind of knock him down. In this one, I used the energy channel, and then have some kind of big bang at the end to knock him out again. Don't be afraid to discard your cards if you have to. Like I discarded Avengers Mansion because it was going to be useless to me that game. And I also discarded something else. I can't remember what it was. Haymaker, maybe. It wasn't going to be very useful. It was more important for me to find like other maybe 2 resources or 3 resource cards, or the energy channel or anything like that was going to give me a bigger bang for my buck. Anyways, but thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.